Hi, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. I would love to have you subscribe, like, comment, and if you're returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. So today's video is going to be another Mask Monday collab with Andi from Andi Does Stuff. I will have her channel and her video linked in my description box. Andi is absolutely beautiful. She's super talented. She is super fun to watch, and I absolutely love her. And we did a Mask Monday collab a little while back that was the Let's Go to the Movies theme. And a lot of our viewers, subscribers, really thought that was fun, and they gave us suggestions to continue to keep doing these types of Mask Monday collabs. So our last one was an 80s music themed Mask Monday, and it was a blast. I love doing that. So this time we're going to be doing a 90s music themed Mask Monday collab, and I have come up with 20 questions for both of us to answer. I cannot wait to watch Andi's video and see if our answers are similar. We both really love 80s and 90s music, like that's where our heart is. So I don't know, I just felt like we were the perfect people to do this type of collab together. And I'm going to be showing you what mask I'll have on my face today. I'm going to be using one that I got, I believe, in an ice cream beauty box. Is that right? I think so. This is the My Skinny Mask Australia Turmeric and Vitamin C Clay Mask. And I've never used this before, but it's just easier for me to use these types of masks when I do a Mask Monday collab, because it's really hard for me to talk with a sheet mask on my face. So I'm going to go off camera, put this mask on my face, and I'll come back and answer the 20 questions that are all 90s music themed. Okay. It's always hard for me to film these videos because I look at myself and I'm like, whoa, but I do have 20 questions based on 90s music that I'm going to be answering in this video today. So let's start off with question number 1. My favorite 90s hip hop artist. And I was a huge fan, I still am a huge fan of hip hop, so I don't know that I can just give you one. I'm going to have to give you a few. I love Timbaland. He was one of my faves, and I know he worked with a ton of different people, so that was really cool just to kind of see what he did with other artists. I also really loved Naughty by Nature, Outkast, Mobb Deep. I loved Tupac, Dr. Dre, Public Enemy. I mean, a ton of different hip hop groups. And you know, those are mostly rap groups, but I did look up what would be considered hip hop groups online, and these were all listed under hip hop. So I don't know, we might agree to disagree here. I'm not sure. Number 2, what is your favorite boy band? That would be Backstreet Boys. Although I really did like NSYNC too. At first, I did not like NSYNC. I was all Backstreet Boys. And then over the course of a few years, probably closer to the end of the 90s, I was more an NSYNC fan than a Backstreet Boys fan. Number 3, what is a 90s song that comes on the radio and you instantly change the channel? That would be What's Up by 4 Non Blondes. I cannot stand that song, and my husband loves it, and he thinks I've lost my mind, but every time it comes on, if we're in the car together, I'm like, nope. I also could not stand the song, I still can't stand it, Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba. Ugh, I cannot stand that. And I've also never really been a huge REM fan. I know some of you probably really love REM, so please don't come for me. But I don't know, Michael Stipe's voice has just never really made me happy. I don't know, not a big REM fan. And then the other half of that question is, what is a 90s song that comes on the radio that you always crank? And I would say anything by TLC. I was such a huge, and still am, a huge TLC fan. I just loved their music so much. And then I also really liked No Doubt. No Doubt was one of my favorite bands too, or favorite groups. Such great songs. And I love Gwen Stefani. She's one of my all-time absolute favorite female artists. Number 4, 90s album that you listen to the most. And that would be Octung Baby by U2. I listened to that all through all 4 years of college pretty much. I have that entire album memorized. I just loved that album so much. It had the song Mysterious Ways, and that's probably the most common or popular song off that album. So good. And then I also loved Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morissette, you know, really angry femme music. Like, yeah, loved her. That was amazing. Number 5, favorite movie soundtrack from the 90s. And I loved the movie Singles. That soundtrack was so good. And then also Waiting to Exhale. That's another one of my favorite movie soundtracks for all time. And then also Romeo and Juliet that Leonardo DiCaprio did. That has a really good soundtrack too. I love that. Number 6, best 90s song to dance to at the club. And I danced my butt off to 100% Pure Love by Crystal Waters. Oh man, I love that song. Every time that song comes on, I just lose my mind and I have to dance. And then also there was a song by Corona called Rhythm of the Night. I love that one too. That was really fun to dance to in the club. Number 7, which 90s artist do you think caused the most drama? And I would say there was a lot of drama with the whole Tommy Lee, Pamela Anderson sex tape. That was pretty dramatic. That happened in the 90s. And then Eminem, I think, was pretty dramatic and kind of controversial because, you know, he just said a lot of things that nobody had ever said before. And I think it kind of caught a lot of people off guard and people were like, what? Who is this guy? And then also the most controversial, and I would say Marilyn Manson. I remember when Marilyn Manson first came out and I just didn't really even know what to think of him. I was kind of like, is this for real? Is this like an act? Is this who he really is? But I remember there being a lot of stuff being talked about him, like in the media and on MTV. I was never really a huge fan of Marilyn Manson. I mean, I did like the version that they did of Sweet Dreams, but other than that, not my band. Number 8, what do you think was the biggest change in music moving from the 80s to the 90s? I mean, I think the sound changed. You know, grunge kind of came into the forefront in the 90s. There were more boy bands in the 90s, and there was more hip hop, I believe, in the 90s too. So I think it kind of went from more like, I'm trying to think of the exact way I want to describe this. Like there was more like synthesizer type music, you know, in the 80s and more kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. It just became less of that and more like grunge and hip hop related music, I would say. I don't know, that's kind of a strange answer, but I do really feel like the sound of music changed and also just like the visuals of the artists changed as well. Number 9, what was the first CD you ever bought? And that was Michael Jackson's Dangerous and also Nevermind by Nirvana. I bought them both at the same time. I got like a little CD Walkman thing and I would listen to those CDs constantly. My Michael Jackson CD ended up snapping in half because I listened to it so much and I just, you know, didn't treat it that great because I was in high school. You know, wasn't really thinking about preserving things in my life, I guess. But I just loved both of those CDs so much. And I still will listen to those CDs. I don't have the CDs anymore, but I will listen to the songs from those CDs like on my phone all the time. Number 10, did you see any concerts in the 90s? And if so, who did you see and which was your favorite? I saw quite a few concerts in the 90s and I wrote these down because I was afraid I was going to forget the artists. I saw like group concerts where there was like several different groups that performed. I'm not exactly sure how you what that's called, but anyway, I saw Coolio, Warren G, Heavy D, and R. Kelly together, which I cannot believe I saw R. Kelly. Don't even get me started on him. Ugh. Anyway, and Coolio was so good. Coolio was my favorite out of the group of those, and I can't believe he passed away. That really broke my heart. And I had a Coolio t-shirt that I wore all through college. My friends would be like, are you going to wear your Coolio t-shirt again? I'm like, yeah, I am. And then I also saw Naughty by Nature, Craig Mack, Adina Howard, Mary J. Blige, Notorious B.I.G. I actually touched his hand, and Jodeci. They were all together in a concert. I was standing towards like the, I don't know, like railway, like kind of leaning over because we were on like the first like upper level, and he came down off the stage and I yelled at him and he reached his hand up and I gave him a high five. That was pretty cool. And Naughty by Nature was really good, and Jodeci was really good too. They were great. I also saw Metallica and Guns N' Roses when I was in college, and that was when Axl Rose was kind of going off the deep end, and he basically just came out on the stage and screamed "F you" to everybody, and Slash came out and drug him off, and then Metallica came out and performed, so that was kind of weird. And then Depeche Mode, I saw them my sophomore year of college, I believe. One of my favorite concerts I've ever been to. They sounded so good, and they had some really cool like visuals behind them, like these big, huge TV screens, and all these cool images were going across as they were performing. That was a great concert. I also saw Donny Osmond when I was in high school. I think that was in 1991. Yeah. He kind of had like a resurge of his career, and he was pretty good, you know, kind of cheesy, but he was pretty good. And then I also saw Chris Ledoux and Clint Black. Those are country artists, and I saw those at my local fairgrounds. Number 11, what 90s artist and what song did they sing that you loved and everyone hated, and then vice versa? A song that I loved that everybody hated was Jump by Criss Cross. I don't care what anybody says. I love that song and I love Criss Cross. And also Who Let the Dogs Out. I love that song by the Baha Men. And all of my friends were like, we're not listening to that song again. Because every time they'd get in my car, I'd be like, we're listening to Who Let the Dogs Out. Okay. And they're like, no, we're going to let you out of the car. And then a song that everybody loved and I couldn't stand was Wannabe by the Spice Girls. Ugh, I cannot stand that song. And then also Anything by Britney Spears. I cannot stand Britney Spears. I know a lot of you are probably big Britney Spears fans. So again, don't come for me, but I've never liked her. Number 12, how do you feel about the grunge movement, grunge music, bands, etc.? I loved grunge. I still love grunge. Grunge is one of my favorite musical genres ever. I just loved the sound. I loved the look. I loved the lyrics, and it was just kind of angsty, but also kind of some hope in there too, you know, kind of a mixture of the two. I just thought it was such a great change in music. You know, 80s music, it had a little bit of that kind of like doop-a-doo, beep-a-da, you know, just kind of airy, kind of, I don't know, not a lot of substance to it. And I felt like grunge really brought the substance. And yeah, I will always be a huge fan of grunge music. Number 13, do you remember where you were when Kurt Cobain passed away and also when Tupac was killed? And yes, I do. I remember both of those events very vividly. I was in college when both of those deaths occurred. And I can remember when Kurt Cobain passed away, my roommates and I were getting ready to go to a party on our college campus somewhere. And we heard that on the news or on the radio or something. And I mean, it just shut down the whole campus. I mean, you could have heard a pin drop outside. Everybody just stopped what they were doing. There were no parties. We were all very cued into the news and hearing about what had happened. And there was a lot of tears shed. I mean, I was very sad, very upset that he passed away because he was one of my absolute favorite musicians and I love Nirvana. And then when Tupac was killed, I was also in college and same type of thing. You know, it just shut everything down. Everybody was just absolutely gutted that had happened, you know, and they're both very missed. And they were two of my absolute favorite artists. I mean, I know Tupac songs like the back of my hand. Like I can rap every single word to a lot of his songs. And of course, I know Nirvana songs very well too. So yeah, I mean, those were two events that really shook the music industry and shook the music fans as well. Number 14, which 90s song reminds you of good times with friends back in the day? This Is How We Do It by Montel Jordan. Every single college party I ever went to, that song was always played, and everybody, no matter what they were doing, would stop and sing along and dance to that song. And then also Plush by Stone Temple Pilots. That always reminds me of hanging out with my roommates because we loved Stone Temple Pilots. Shoop by Salt and Peppa. That was another song that my roommates and I loved to listen to. We knew all the words to. We would drive around, you know, singing or rapping that song at the top of our lungs. And then also Man in the Box by Alice in Chains. That also reminds me of college parties. Number 15, what is your favorite and least favorite 90s love song? My favorite 90s love song is More Than Words by Extreme. And also Right Here Waiting by Richard Marx. All My Life by Casey and JoJo. I love that song too. No Ordinary Love by Sade. That's another one of my favorites. My least favorites are Truly, Madly, Deeply by Savage Garden. I just thought that was kind of cheesy. And then also I'd Do Anything for Love by Meatloaf. And my husband will probably pack his stuff and leave if he ever watches this video because he loves that song. But I don't know. Meatloaf is also not one of my favorite artists either. I mean, he's okay, but I don't know. Number 16 is biggest 90s heartthrob. And I would have to say Marky Mark. I was so in love with him. I still am in love with Mark Wahlberg. He is so cute. But I can remember him having those Calvin Klein underwear ads with no shirt on and, oh, hello, Marky. And then Ricky Martin. I thought he was so hot, so hot. And then also LL Cool J. He was so cute. And you know, he has aged really well. He still looks very good as he ages. Like, that man doesn't really age. He just looks amazing. Number 17, how did you feel about techno music? And if you were a fan, who were your favorite artists or groups? I like techno. I mean, I kind of went through a phase in my life, I think maybe when I was in college, yeah, pretty much, that I really did like techno music because that was something that they played pretty consistently at the clubs was techno. And I loved like Black Box and Two Unlimited, and there was a group called the Time Lords that I really liked. There were other groups too that I was into, but I just cannot think of their names right now. But yeah, I like techno. I mean, you know, I was kind of glad that it came and went. I mean, every so often I will hear like a techno type song on the radio, but that is not something that I will like search for to listen to anymore. But I did like it back in the day. I did. Number 18, cheesiest 90s musical artist and or group, B-52s. I could never get into the B-52s. And again, I know some of you probably really like that group, but I don't know, just not my thing. And then Limp Bizkit, I could not stand. I thought Fred Durst, the lead singer of that group, was such a tool. I still do. I just can't stand him. Spice Girls, I was not really a big fan of. And then Hootie and the Blowfish. I did not like Hootie and the Blowfish either. His voice just is like nails on a chalkboard to me. And just cheesy lyrics. I don't know. I just never could get into that group. Number 19 is the best 90s music video. Hands down, No Rain by Blind Melon. That song and that video is just the best. It just makes me happy. There's a little girl in a bee costume and she's just so cute. And I love that band. And Shannon Hoon, the lead singer, he overdosed on heroin, which just broke my heart. There was a lot of that going on. A lot of drugs going on. I mean, I'm sure there was, well, I know there was a lot of drugs going on in the 80s too. But I feel like it really caught up with people in the 90s and that was really unfortunate. And then also, and I know that Andi will not agree with me about this, but I love the music video Vogue by Madonna. I just thought that was such a cool video. Number 20, last question here. What 90s album did you know all the lyrics to? And there were three. Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morissette, Octung Baby by U2, and then Crazy Sexy Cool by TLC. And those three albums will always be three of my top favorites. And I get so nostalgic whenever I listen to any of those songs from those albums. I just love it. So I have answered all 20 questions. I'm going to take this mask off and I'll come right back. So my mask is off and my face is bright red. Not from my mask. It's because I had to scrub it off. I think you're only supposed to have it on for like 10 minutes. I think it was about 20 minutes that I had my mask on, but really nice mask. My face feels really good, very soft and like fresh. And I'm really digging the clay masks that I got recently. That one came in an ice cream beauty box, I'm pretty sure. And then I've used that green one that came from my ColourPop mystery box in Mask Monday collab. Really nice clay masks. I'm really digging those. And I really like them better than the sheet masks. I really do. It's just impossible for me to do a sheet Mask Monday video. I'm not doing it anymore. It's too hard for me to talk. Anyway, this was so fun. And I cannot wait to watch Andi's video and hear her answers. And of course, like I said at the beginning, I'm going to have her channel and her video linked in my description box. I have had so much fun doing these collabs with Andi, and we've talked about continuing to do these every so often. Just really fun. I love Andi. I absolutely love her. And I think she is one of the most beautiful women I have ever seen, not only on the outside, but on the inside. And just feel a very special bond to Andi. And I love to chat with her. We chat quite often on Instagram in a DM. And I just always look forward to hearing from her and chatting with her. We've been talking lately a lot about our taste in makeup and how it's kind of changed and just kind of plans that we have for the new year. It's been really fun to talk to somebody that feels the same way that I do. And, you know, we just talk about all kinds of life stuff too. It's just really, really neat friendship that we share. And if you guys have not gone to Andi's channel yet and subscribed, which would really surprise me, but please go to Andi's channel and subscribe and watch her videos. You are going to absolutely love her. And I would love for you guys to answer these questions in the comment section. I mean, you don't have to answer all 20 of them, but you know, answer a few of them. That'd be really fun. I love to talk about music and pop culture type things. And like I said, Andi and I think we're going to keep this going. We've talked about a few different things that we could do in future Mask Monday collabs, and I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your busy day or evening to sit down and watch my video. It always means the world to me. If you have subscribed or you would like to subscribe, do not forget to hit the notification bell. That way you're aware of all of my future uploads. I cannot wait to see you guys again on my next video, but in the meantime, please take care of yourself, be well, safe, happy, and I hope to see you very soon. Thanks again, you guys. Take care. Bye.
Drop it.